Bōde's Edmonton real estate market update for March 2022. This video is going to quickly show you what's happening in Edmonton at a macro level in terms of supply and demand for housing as well as prices. And then I'm going to show you where you can find all of the same data for your own local community so you can find out exactly what your home's worth in this current market. So here we're going to look at the greater Edmonton area and all residential listings and the number of new listings that have come to market each month for the last 4 years. So you can see it typically follows the same seasonal trend each year. And new listings have been fairly consistent throughout the pandemic, so in the last few months, staying pretty close to typical values. In February, the most recent month, new listings were up 16% versus the average of the previous 4 February. So we're starting to see more people list their homes. Again, it's coming into the spring market here when there's typically more listings. But for February, for this time of year, more listings than we've seen in the last 4 years for February. Then on the demand side of the equation, in the most recent month, demand's been incredibly high. This continues a very strong year and a half of sales in Edmonton. So since the outbreak of COVID, we've seen pretty much every month from June 2020 very high sales for those months. And in the most recent month here, February, sales up 51% versus the average of the previous 4 February. So very high numbers of sales right now, lots of buyers in the market buying homes, and relatively fewer new listings coming to market, which means the overall number of homes for sale is still heading down. So that's the chart we have here on the left. This is the total number of homes for sale at the end of each month for the last 4 years. So right now at the end of February, there's 29% fewer listings than there would typically be for this time of year, which is great news for sellers because you've got less competition, and is difficult as a buyer because you've got less homes to choose from and more competition over a smaller number of homes. So if we take a look at months of supply, which tries to put supply and demand together then to say, okay, given the amount of inventory for sale right now and given how fast homes are selling and how many homes are selling each month, how many months would it take to sell through all of the homes currently for sale? And you can see, again, for the last year and a half, months of supply has been incredibly low, but it's reaching new lows here at the start of 2022, and here in February, there's just 2 months of supply in the greater Edmonton market, which is down about 65% versus where it would typically be this time of year. You can see it would normally be above 6 months of supply, but right now it's just 2. So what does that mean? Well, the lower the months of supply, the more the market favors sellers, and the higher the months of supply, the more the market favors buyers. So if you're a seller right now, not a lot of competition, and there's lots of buyers out there. So a great time to be selling a home. And of course, what does all of that mean for prices? Well, here we've got the prices in Edmonton over the last 17 years. And you can see most recently, in the first half of 2021, prices were going up quite quickly. Then the second half of 2021, that kind of changed, and prices started going down for most of the last 6 months. But just in the most recent months, they've started going back up again. So good news for homeowners in Edmonton, and the prices are starting to get back to the highs of 2016, 2017. So again, great news for homeowners in Edmonton. If you wanted to check out all of this data for your own community, you can do that on our website, bode.ca, and we've got 3 tools for you to take a look at. The first is market data, and that's where you can see the same supply and demand metrics that we've just been looking at, but you can look at those metrics for your specific community or your area of the city. If you want to find out what any home has sold for around you over the last 12 years in Alberta, you can find that on our sold data page. And finally, if you want to look at comparables, you can go to our comparables page, enter some information about your home, and see the most comparable active listings, so that's your competition right now, and the most comparable recently sold listings. So you can get a really good feel for what your home is worth in today's market. So check all of that out at bode.ca, and we'll see you again next month. Thanks very much.